anger is arguably the most powerful, one of the most popular, and arguably really debilitating emotions. And so today I wanted to speak about it to some degree, and I want to tackle how it arises, how we can overcome it, what we can do to limit it in our lives, and ultimately what we can do to let go of it rather than holding on and burning ourselves. So let's get into it. So letting go of anger. The first thing I want to share with you is this graph, this diagram, Robert Plutchik's theory of emotion that he shared. And so this diagram is ultimately showing the different degrees of all the emotions. He speaks about 8 emotions. I'm not going to go into all of them. I'm going to focus on anger in this episode. But he talks about the different degrees, and that to start with, there's annoyance and irritability. Arguably, these words are interchangeable, which then moves into anger, and then that can progress into rage. So I wanted to start with this graph. You should check it out, Robert Plutchik's theory of emotion, and you'll find the graphs on Google easy enough, and just check that out. But I wanted to begin with the fact that it's very rare that we go from 0 to rage just because one thing happens. Normally what happens is that we start getting annoyed and irritated, and then it develops and grows like a beast, like Jekyll and Hyde, when Jekyll would turn into Hyde and get really angry, or when Hulk mad. It doesn't just happen. Something occurs and it irritates us, and that grows into anger. And one thing that I find very clear with anger is how the mind affects the body and how the emotions affect the body. So when you're angry, you're literally red with rage, you're tense, you're angry, you get hot. So just by the mind, physiologically it affects the body. And so there's a few quotes I just want to share, because ultimately it's normally outside things that make us angry. And so there's a couple of quotes that really help to emphasize this and help us make the point of why we should try and avoid anger, because it's no good for us. It's an emotion that really takes a lot of energy and can really be debilitating in our lives. So Mahatma Gandhi said, "I will not let anyone walk through my mind with their dirty feet." So essentially he's saying, you're not coming in. No one's going to make him angry, because he's not going to let them make him angry. He's going to have control of his emotions. He's going to have control of what impact and influence external influences are going to have on him. And there's a few fun ones about try to manage anger, since people can't manage their stupidity. Again, a lot of stuff is coming from people's stupidity, people being stupid, people being egoic, focusing on their own things rather than having empathy and compassion. And the last one is, the less you respond to negative people, the more peaceful your life will become. So this first part that I'm talking about is ultimately saying not to be influenced by the external world. And if you go back and watch some of my previous videos on mindfulness, it will help you understand this a bit better, in the sense that trying to create a sort of inner gap between the person that's getting angry and the person that can observe the anger. And if that gap becomes large enough, you'll be able to feel the heat, the red mist dropping, and you'll be able to feel the anger coming up, and you can do things to try and limit that. And so anger is really debilitating, because it takes up so much energy and stresses us out. And if we continue with being angry over many days, we can really lose big sections of our life. Because if you're angry in the moment, you can completely ruin whatever it is that you're doing. And if you hold on to that anger, it can ruin a day, and even weeks and weeks can go by when you've got this red mist on, and your anger is clouding everything that happens. You can't relate to your kids or your work colleagues because you're so angry about something that has occurred previously. So I called this video "Letting Go of Anger," and I'm going to share with you a brilliant quote from the Buddha and Mark Twain, and ultimately they're talking about the same thing. And then I'm going to share with you a great way that you can let go of anger and then have some peace. And so the Buddha said, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. And Mark Twain said, anger is an acid that can do more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than to anything on which it is poured. And so these two quotes are echoing the same sentiment. Ultimately, if you're angry, you're suffering. The person you're angry with, they might be off on holiday on a beach, or they might be doing anything, you know, their favorite pastime, or they might be having an afternoon nap, you know. The anger is yours. So what we have to do is we have to take responsibility for our own emotions and our own internal processes. And ultimately, I hope this video has made you aware that, yeah, anger is like a hot coal or an acid. If you're angry and holding on to it, you're the one that's being burned, being influenced, and ultimately, yeah, losing out on valuable peace and happiness that you could be experiencing in the moment. So what you can do is ultimately bring to mind these quotes and these ideas, the fact that it's only you that's being influenced by your anger, and yeah, just see it as a hot coal and try and let go of it. Try and bring awareness back to your body and try and rationalize out the fact that it's really not this important, whatever it is that I'm angry about, and life will move on, you know. It will soon be a distant memory, the anger and the emotions that you felt, and so try and just detach yourself from it. So today I just wanted to share these thoughts that I had about anger, and that if you just drop the anger, let go of it, you can feel the red mist and the tension and everything that goes with anger lift and float away, and then hopefully you'll be happy and content after a while. It might take a few times trying, mind you, but if you keep practicing, then I'm sure you'll get there, and anger will no longer have an impact on your life. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Be sure to like the video and subscribe if you're not already, and share it with your angry friends and work colleagues, and hopefully we can make the world more happy, peaceful, and have less anger. Take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.